The hit era of Thomas is an era that I don't really revisit a lot. Like, it's an era where the characters are flanderized, the realism is just thrown away, and the stories are just really formulaic. And it's like one of the things that just kind of screwed over Thomas's reputation for just being some baby show that aired alongside Barney and other shows. But one of the things I actually do love about the hit era was how it ended. We're talking The Great Discovery and how it just marked such an incredible end to Thomas's tenure as an all-model production. Like, when you watch the hit era, like all 4 seasons of the model hit era, and then you watch this movie, it's like everyone just all of a sudden locked the fuck in. And I think they did that because this was the last time, like, with all models, because as we saw in season 12, they started putting CGI on the faces and for the humans, and it just looked terrifying. So what we're seeing here is just everyone just giving it their A game. And they just knocked it out of the park. Like, there are just so many incredible moments with the models. Like, there's that bridge scene, the tower collapsing, the chase in Morgan's mine, and Thomas flying off a waterfall and just rolling down a hill. Like, the model work here is insane. And this is probably the best model work in the hit era. Not to mention just the plethora of characters they decided to bring out. It's like, they got Molly, they got Terrence, like, even freaking Diesel 10. They were just like, yeah, fuck it, throw in Diesel 10. Yeah, he did try to kill Thomas and the others at one time, but let's just ignore that. One of the other things that I love about this movie is Thomas himself. Thomas in the hit era is just stupid. And, like, so many of his stories are just repetitive, and repetitive. But here, Thomas actually feels like Thomas. He feels like a cheeky asshole. And, like, I just love this story about him kind of battling with his own ego. Like, I think the writers really wanted to tell a good Thomas story before they started switching to CGI. And that, too, they just did such a fantastic job with. The inclusion of Great Waterton is another incredible part of this movie. Alright, so, like, in the hit era, we had just really generic locations, like the ice cream factory, for example. But here, Great Waterton is something that you would have seen it, like, be introduced in, like, seasons 1 to 5. Like, it really just feels like a lived-in town. It's not a gimmick. It's like a real place. There's real history to it. Like, I can't believe they didn't use Great Waterton more. It is such a wonderful location. And it's like, even at the very end, they were still wanting to introduce new lore to Sodor's history. And I just love that so much. The songs in here are also incredible. Like, I always just get such a kick out of Thomas and James Are Racing, Jobs Aplenty, Where Oh Where Is Thomas. Like, the songs here slap. I mean, Thomas, You're the Leader is alright, but not a bad song in here. Another incredible and unique thing about The Great Discovery is Pierce Brosnan as the narrator. I think he is so underrated. Like, he actually, like, makes his narration kind of, like, stand out. I really love some of the character voices he does, like with James, Sir Topham Hatt, Emily. Like, his James voice in particular, it just sounds so smug, and this can't be me, but, like, he makes his James just sound so much like Tim Curry. Like, watch it, and it's just, like, you'll see. But, like, that just kind of, like, flabbergasted me, because I hadn't seen this movie in a while. Now, I do have two problems with this movie, and thankfully they are not major problems. First off, I do feel like Brosnan, while he's good, sometimes he does talk a little too quietly. And I just wish he could kind of, I don't know, bring up just a little more energy for some of the emotional moments and just other normal scenes. And the other thing is, why is there just so much stock footage used throughout the music videos? Like, did they, like, have, like, not a lot of time when it came to shooting stuff made for the music videos? Like, I know the hit era is just known for its, like, time crunches. And the nitrogen era, but really? Overall, The Great Discovery is just phenomenal. I think it is an incredible end to Thomas as an all-model production. They managed to tell such a grounded story, an emotional story about Thomas as a character, and everything just came together so beautifully.
In my opinion, The Great Discovery, I thought it was a very solid send-off for the model era of Thomas, and it had a lot of great things about it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the narration. So whenever you're talking about like a Thomas movie, the narration is what you're kind of hearing the entire time when you're watching the film, like that's who tells the story. I thought Pierce Brosnan did a great job, mainly as Thomas, but also just narrating the entire story. Like, I thought he did a solid job with all the characters in the movie. He helped convey the story in a good way. I thought his voice sounded very good, and he fit the role. He kind of fit the island of Sodor and kind of the vibe and all that, so I thought he did a great job as the narrator. Additionally, too, the actual model work in this movie is immaculate. Like, there's this one scene where Thomas falls down this ravine and he's like going down this river in this massive like mine shaft, and it was just a very cool scene. There's scenes where Thomas is going up through the mountains and he's like crossing this bridge that's about to collapse, and that looked really cool. There's scenes where like the new character is going around the countryside and it looks beautiful, and Great Waterton, which is what I'll talk about next. Great Waterton looks very cool, and it fits in with the rest of the Thomas universe, like Luke talked about in his part of the video. I thought Great Waterton is one of the coolest additions that they've added to Thomas. I wish they would have done more with it. Like, Thomas in this, the great discovery that he finds is Great Waterton, and they're kind of like the whole point of this movie is that they're rebuilding the town. They're getting it ready for Island of Sodor Day. And I thought it was a very cool location. Like, Thomas discovers this. It's kind of crazy. I like how the buildings look. I wish they would have done more with it. Luke showed me that they had Great Waterton like in some video games or something like that, but they never really added it back to the show. So I wish they would have done more with it. But this kind of main part of the Island of Sodor was very cool in the movie. I liked the introduction of it. I liked that Thomas was the one that got to discover it too, so it was very cool. Another element that was very cool in this movie was the incorporation of Stanley. Stanley is both a great foil to Thomas and a great friend, and it kind of like shows how the whole story of this movie goes. First off, whenever Stanley is coming in, Stanley is kind of like a foil to Thomas. Like, Thomas is jealous of him that he's coming in, kind of like he's already a great engine, he's kind of taking over and stuff. And Thomas has to kind of learn that, you know, sometimes you're not going to be number one like every time. Sometimes you're going to have to like give up some power. Some other people can do different things good in addition to you being able to do stuff good. And Thomas eventually throughout the movie learns how to reconcile with this, and he eventually becomes friends with Stanley. I thought that was a very good like dichotomy that they had in the movie, where initially Stanley kind of seems like almost the villain to Thomas, like it's causing Thomas to make, or he's causing Thomas to make all these mistakes and stuff, kind of alienate the rest of the engines on the Island of Sodor. But eventually Thomas redeems himself at the end, and he actually becomes friends with Stanley, is able to save him after Stanley saves him, so it ends up being like a happy ending. Additionally, too, the music of this movie really sets the film well. I don't feel like anything was out of place. The songs that they had, like the 3 different songs, I thought they were all solid. And overall, this was just a very good Thomas movie. especially as a send off to the model era. It was great, and this is a lot better than what came after it. What Luke showed me after he watched this, like the next season, whenever they tried first adding the CGI and they like combined it with the models, it looked horrendously bad. So this was a lot better. This was about like an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. It was a great send off for the model era of Thomas. If you're a Thomas super fan, you have to check out The Great Discovery. It's a great film to watch. Solid plot, solid characters, great narration. I thought it was a great movie.